Okay, as I promised you, I will be taking you on the International Academic Excellence Scholarship, which is a whopping 35,000 New Zealand dollar. Okay, so that is such a great, huge amount of money that you can actually, you know, you can actually access to pay off your school fees and, other things which you may need to do. Just, I will take you quickly on this. The value is about 35,000 New Zealand dollar, like I said, and the number of students who are being granted this varies. And the opening date is 1st of May in year proud to study, and which means if you want to study even next year, you can start applying from 1st of year of this year, just upon your application process. Then closing date is 2 weeks upon invitation to apply. So we're gonna see all these details as we go on this. General eligible criteria is application for all international entrance scholarship are normally open to students who have completed secondary school, high school, or at another approved institution that grants university entrance overseas outside of New Zealand, which means, by the way, this is for undergraduate students, okay? So once you are at your final year in the high school, you can actually apply, or you already have started studying somewhere else outside of New Zealand who would allow you to actually do a transfer, then you're good to. And are intending to enroll to have or to have enrolled in full-time degree level on a graduate study at University of Otago, then you would qualify to apply for this. Okay, now that is the general entry requirement, and the specific eligibility criteria for this scholarship is that, in addition to what I've said earlier on, is that intending to study at the University of Otago, that is crucial from 100 level, first year through to the degree attainment. You must be enrolling at 100 level, not 200, or probably by advanced studies or transfer, whatever it is, but you must be enrolling at 100 level and studying on campus throughout the duration of their studies. So you have to be studying on campus. It's not going to be at the point you switch to online. If this happens, then it means you will not be eligible for this, okay? And for the application process, every eligible applicant must indicate in the application to for study through the study management system. So once you go to eVision and you create your account, eVision, I will show you eVision, or I've also shown you in my previous video. Once you create your account in eVision, then you can go on and click that I am interested to be considered for an application during your application process. Okay, so that is fine. You don't need to do a separate application for this. And once you're eligible, you'll be invited to apply after when you're eligible. So you now fill the real application form. Okay, and the scholarship details. The University of Otago International Academic Excellence Scholarship is actually a University of Otago entrance scholarship and is subject to the standard undergraduate entrance scholarship term and condition, except for the following condition, which suspends or supersede the normal entrance scholarship terms and condition. Number one, students starting their program in semester two are eligible for this scholarship. Okay. Number two is deferral of the scholarship is not possible. So if you, for any reason, get this scholarship and you're not able to pursue your studies, you will not be able to defer this scholarship. You would also be required to start all afresh. When next you are applying, you have to start all afresh, and you're gonna be considered from scratch. Okay, so that is quite important for you to know. And yeah, the value I've said it's 30,000, 35,000 New Zealand dollar with a 3 years tenor. Okay, yeah, you're gonna get this for with a 3 years tenor, and payment of the scholarship in year one will consist of fee waiver. You're gonna get fee waiver for your cost of accommodation in the university, and owned or university affiliated residential college. So it's gonna be there in the university accommodation affiliated to university, and you're gonna get your tuition fee and your accommodation waived. Okay, yeah. So that is number one. And for those commencing study in semester two, for those commencing study in semester two, which will start from 2nd of July, half the scholarship fund will be released towards accommodation costs in university owned or university affiliated residential college. For those that choose not to stay in the university owned university affiliated residential college in year one, often or no payment will be made. Okay, and payment in year two and three consists of 7,000 towards tuition and student scholarship service fee. Okay, and tenor in year two or three normally requires a GPA of 7.0 or A minus at least for you to qualify for this. Okay, so anyway, these are just like breakdown of the scholarship, but then the there are things you would be needing. Okay, um, they're gonna be needing this to make their decision for this. Number one is a written request received from the students outlining why they would like some leniency in GPA requirements. Number two is evidence of sports or cultural activity performance and associated commitment if relevant. And number three is evidence of medical impairment if relevant. This is for, if for any reason your GPA does not meet the required level. Okay, yeah. Recipient may request continuation of their scholarship in their GPA is not as required. Yeah, but you have to do these three things. You have to write showing, requesting for leniency. Okay, and you also have to show an evidence of sports or cultural activities. Probably these are part of your reasons why you didn't make it up, and you would also need evidence of medical impairment if this is required for you. Yeah, so that is it. Well, there are more information you can actually look up here if you come to this page to have a look. But let me just take you back again. If you're a future student and you want to know the entry requirement, you can hit up this. If you want to know the program requirement, you can also check out the programs which they study. And if you check out the programs, then you would be able to um, yeah, you would be able to see the requirement for that course. So let me just look at this anatomy. Let me say this guy is going for anatomy. When you hit it up, it takes you to anatomy. So you're gonna see study anatomy at Otago. So these are for bachelor's degree. You may watch this video if you want to know about anatomy and generally. So University of Otago gives video for all their courses to just help you to understand. Yeah. So these are just some things to study when if you learn. If you study anatomy, you can see them in bullet points. So the career opportunities here. Anatomy at Otago. Why does a BS in anatomy involve? What does it involve? Teaching style, postgraduate study if you want, background required, requirement, and blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm here at requirement. So already we're looking at anatomy, bachelor's of science in measuring in anatomy. So these are things you need to do for you to get a bachelor's of science. You need to meet up with all this, okay? And these are the qualifications you're gonna get. We're gonna get Bachelor of Science in Anatomy and more information about this course. You can actually write here to get more information about anatomy. Okay, yeah. So that is about anatomy. Already, I've taken you to the scholarship, and you see how you can apply. So once already you hit up apply now, then you would be able to apply. Okay. Yeah. Let me just take you back to anatomy. Can we just go back? So if you want to know more about it, then you can watch this video and you will see what it means to study anatomy. Yeah, in University of Otago.
Kia ora, I'm
So
Tony.
yeah,
I'm a master's student in the anatomy department, and my two favourite subjects that I studied in anatomy were bioanthropology, which is
but
the
by
study
the
of
way,
bones, and
I mean this you can see for every course, okay? But I'm just showing you about anatomy. I'm not gonna show you the full video because I won't be able to keep this for 5 minutes. But just for you to understand how you can also see for other courses. They're gonna give you
of
an
anatomy.
introduction of
And I'm here
what
today to tell you a little bit about
anatomy
the study.
looks like, so you can just go through it and see. And for any other course, maybe financial management, economics, science, physics, wherever it is. All right,
And
guys.
maybe guts and that kind of stuff. But what I really wanted to get across to you is that while that's true that those things do happen in anatomy, there's lots of other stuff that happens in anatomy, and you'll learn all that stuff in your study. I mean, the one way that you can think about anatomy is that we're interested in the subject of anatomy, in understanding how the body is put together and how that makes it function in the way that it does. Of course, we're also interested in understanding what happens when it breaks or when we have diseases, and then how we can maybe try different ways of fixing it when it does break or when we have diseases. Now, the thing that's cool about anatomy is I told you it was quite broad. And the thing that's really nice about that is if you come to University of Otago to study anatomy, is that you will be able to study all of these things about your body and about our bodies, as well as some things about how humans have evolved and come to populate the Pacific by studying. Got obsessed with anatomy, and the lecturers and the lab demonstrators just support you and just further so you have so many questions that you want to ask, you just get answers, but then they just provide more questions and then you just get more answers. It's an obsession. So in addition to those topics that Tony told you about that she's really super interested in, we have a couple of other areas of study in anatomy, and this is where things like bones and the more traditional anatomy study come into play. And in that area of study, people are really interested in understanding things like, why is it that knees always go out when people play sport? Or how can I fix this bad back that's really been bothering me? So as you can see, I hope that but I fell in love with research. Majors, and I think I'll leave it to Tony actually to tell you a little bit more about what the anatomy student community is all about and what that will do after you get out and you have a degree in anatomy. Well, people who've majored in anatomy over the years have ended up in an enormous variety of careers. The variety that you get in anatomy is mirrored by the variety of career opportunities that you have when you come out. So not surprisingly, a lot of people go into the health professions, so things like medicine, dentistry, physiotherapy, but also a lot of people in allied health professions, so nursing, optometry, ophthalmology, genetic counseling, those kinds of things are quite popular. We also have people who have taken on roles as teachers of biology and anatomy and science teachers. Also, a lot of people who go into science communication. You could go into research. So if you really get into the study that you do in anatomy, you might find yourself doing some research in anatomy. And then finally, one of the really popular places that people go is into government and communicating science to government, and so that science can inform policy making that government officials consider when they're making policy about how the country will work.
All right, guys. So I hope to see my next video. Please do not forget to share my video. Do not forget to like, and I'd like you to comment so that I will know where you're watching from. So, guys, cheers, and hope to see you in my next video. Thanks.